Good morning and welcome to the early bird. And here we're looking at the Dow Jones on a 5-minute chart, and we're just looking here quite simply at the minor trading level 5 here, which is the midpoint, and it's 5 is the second strongest number, and we're seeing the Dow Jones under this level at the moment, and that's a significant sort of point, I guess, because in the bigger picture, in terms of being bearish or bullish, this 12,500 level here, we will just be a little bit patient and see if it establishes itself as support or resistance. No matter what the Elliott wave count is, we need to be on the right side of the market at the right time. And if this establishes itself as support, then we'll be looking to go long. If it establishes itself as resistance, then it will put a bearish spin on things. And being under this level, even in this short period of time here, really places a bearish connotation onto the situation. So we can see here that that the moves that are coming down through here are coming down quite sort of sharply, I guess, and the moves that are going up through here are sort of smaller and struggling a little bit as well. So even this one here is struggling. So it's retesting the 12,500 here. That's what it's doing. It's retesting supply. So the supply just sellers. So as these sellers move down here to try and catch the market or get out of their positions, the longs to get out of their positions, the weight of those sellers will come into play there. But the important thing, given time, 12,500 as support or resistance. In the slightly bigger picture here, this is sort of what we're looking at here. If this can still be really an A and a B and a C wave down through to here, it would need to unfold further. But we're looking at it sort of more so now in the terms of the wave 1 and the wave 2, then down for wave 1 and wave 2 to here, then wave 1 and 2 to here. And we mentioned as this structure was unfolding through here that it's working its way into a wave 3. And in this wave 3 here, there will be a series of smaller waves, such as the wave 1 here, the wave 2 here, and then down for wave 3 to here, and also smaller structures again, and down for 1, back for 2, and then we'll be going down for 3 as well. But we can also see in here that there's down for 1, back for 2. So it's slowly picking up speed to the downside, and that's what we expected it to do. But we just want to see confirmation that the 12,500 locks itself in there as support or resistance. In the bigger picture here as well, I don't have today's bar on here, but today's bar has taken out this top through here. So it has come down and moved through here. So that's an overlapping wave structure which causes weakness in the market. But I also want to give consideration to a bigger bullish picture here happening. I know that might not sound that good, but the thing with Elliott is that you have to include all the counts and then eliminate them one by one. And what I want to point out here is that this move through here would be something like this here. So this is a large 5-wave structure up. So we've got up for wave 1 here and back for wave 2. So then we'll be looking for the 3rd wave to go up in here. So in each of these structures here, there would be 5 waves in this structure to here. Yep. And there would also be 5 waves in the next structure through here as well. So this next structure through here as well, we've got 5 waves coming up through here. We'd be looking at 3 waves to come back. So it would be up for 1, an A and a B and a C. Now that would normally pull back, say, the 61.8 retracement level from that high and low there. So that would bring it in there. So that would bring it in at 12,400 here. Yep. So that would be there. So then we sort of can look at the minor trading levels here. So the 12,300 here is a minor trading level. And that would be the sort of support there. So, if the market came down below the 12,300 here, then we can really sort of bring this in as a top here. But I just need to point out both sides of the coin here, and you know that I was harping on about the 12,500, and that is significant, and we need to see that play out. But just to let you sort of bring both, I've got to be fair here and bring both all the counts into play here, and yeah, we've been tracking both of them, but that's the picture. And there's a fair bit of time spent in this particular correction here, as you can see here. So it is gearing itself up. There's a fair bit of weight sitting here, so we'll see that sort of play out. But it will take a little while for the 12,500 to become support, and one of the reasons for that is partly the other markets that would be holding that up. So if we look at China market, this is the Shenzhen here, and we can see here that, just looking at it through here, we can see that we've been getting support through here on this market, and the Shanghai is pretty much the same as well, but this support here could fail from here. We're also seeing this on our market in a smaller way as well. So that's the Shenzhen. With the Shanghai here, we're also been looking for this particular pattern to come down through here. Just bringing China into the picture. So we've had this structure up through here. So we'll be looking at a 61.8% structure through here as such to here. So we're looking down at the 28.15 here. But as I mentioned before, the 2,800 here is a minor trading level, and that's what we were considering this situation here. So we would a breaking of this here, and especially as resistance, would put the Asian markets in in a very bearish situation, and then we would be along with that as well there. So we've watched this move up through here. We knew that there'd be a reaction, and now we're waiting for support. Now this would be the sort of final cutoff point here. So this is an important level to watch. We can see that it's been slowing down coming into this area here, and we've also seen our ASX slowing down into this region as well, and that's why we're pointing out the 61.8 retracement level on the ASX 200, and sort of nailing our wave countdown through here as well to the 4,650. And I think there's two sort of interesting points last night, and one of them was our local market, the SPY here. The SPY yesterday, or over the last few days, have been finding support on the 4,650 as the ASX 200, and we've just been watching that develop a little bit. But last night, the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, they made new lows down through here, and our market didn't do that. So that was one interesting thing. The other interesting thing was that the Dow Jones moving down and the US dollar index, the US dollar itself moving down. So the stock market and the dollar moving down together. So that was a little bit sort of unusual. So we're seeing this pattern here, and this is another interesting point here. This particular pattern here is very much the same as we're looking on the Australian dollar at. So when we have just going around different way this time. See the Australian dollar down here, and this is sitting at 1.5 here. And I'm not saying that that we're going to rally off here, but we do have support here, and this pattern is much the same as our stocks. And this particular, see this three-wave pattern here, then we should see some further highs on that. But we do have, on subtle levels, we have trend lines coming through. But point is, we've got support on the 105 here, and while we've got that support there, then our markets are supported, and this would be one of the reasons for this would be the support in copper. So I'm just going to flick back to copper here, and we can see that we were expecting and have been expecting a wave 4 here to come back to the 38.2 retracement level, or the fourth wave of one lesser degree, which is in here. And we knew that this would be sort of a complicated structure through here, and we're seeing that at the moment. So while this is finding support here and across here, we're seeing that on our ASX 200, and we're also seeing it on Australian dollar. We're seeing it here. We're sort of waiting for the Shanghai and the Shenzhen to find their lows and their supports and rally from those particular points there. So we've got support ourselves in the Asian world here, and we would sort of like to rally, and things are putting themselves into those positions, but we don't know if these rallies here are just like wave 4s, yeah, and then we'll move down for wave 5s, which is what I'm seeing here in these markets here. But while we're seeing this support in the Asian region, we're seeing the bearishness of the US market. So you can see that we're on sort of unclear territory, unfirm ground here, and we need to tread lightly and keep our position sizes smaller, and keep our trading ranges smaller as well, and get our positions to our stops to break even point, but within reason, as quickly as possible. While this is occurring here, we're seeing a bit of a change in the oil scene here. So we're still sort of on track with everything here, but we've had this 5 waves down through here. And based off that, we should see another 5. But we've just sort of changed the count around a little bit here, because we should have seen the price drop much quicker from 100 here down here faster, but we're not seeing that. The angle of this one here is suggesting that the 95 will have the low into place here. So we're looking for a bigger corrective structure in terms of still down to wave 1 here, but an A wave, a B wave to here, and a C wave up to here for wave 2. So this would be in 5 waves through here, which would offer us a bit of support in the energy sector locally here as well. And that will give time for base metals to finish its wave 4 correction as well, and we'll also see our currencies follow this as well. So we should see, as I mentioned, the Australian dollar there as being a part of the mix here that we're looking at in terms of support. So we sort of looking for that rally to come up through here. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Dow Jones does at this point in time around the 12,500. That's what I was getting to. So we're seeing from the commodities and through the Asian section here that we've been supporting some of the areas, and support is coming in from other areas now as well. So I'm wondering if that's going to make the Dow Jones stick around the 12,500. Yeah, so instead of seeing it drop quickly from here, I mean, we are seeing it drop quickly and everything's sort of on track everywhere, because we were looking for and are looking for support in the 61.8 region on the ASX 200, and we're getting that, and we're talking about the situation as we should be, and we were expecting this to, you know, come down and pick up speed while Australian market finds support. So this is really sort of unusual, and it's been a very tricky thing to get our sort of heads around, I guess. But we are on track with it, and we're just sharing our thoughts on it, and that's the best we can do with it at this point in time, because this is showing, you know, a bearish picture through here, but just understanding the levels as well. So the midpoint 12,500 is important, but while the Asian markets are finding support from a rally in the commodities that we're kind of expecting and are seeing in copper, and may expect in crude as well. Yeah, so we might see it stick around this here for a while, but in terms of the levels here, we want to see how this retests this here, and if it fails from that. And we know from the bigger picture that we just looked at then, that I was pointing out, we know that the 12,300 is a support, and a significant support as well. It's also the top of minor group 1 of 12,000, so 100, 200 and 300, and it has its own significance if you understand group 1 well enough. So as it comes into this price territory here, then this opens up and confirms the next largest picture as well. So being under the 12,500 here as resistance, it's gone through there. We know that the breakout, sure, the breakout's in the breakout or the breakthrough or the break up or the breakdown through a level is important, but it's the retest that's more important. So if this finds support on here, then that's fine. So if it starts to fail from here, then people that are short can start shorting it or adding to shorts here. So just saying that the breakout is important, but I find the retest is more important because the next trend will come from that. It's kind of a test, but this is a sort of a basic trading levels pattern here, where the market comes down, hits the level here, the classic pattern, hits the level, goes back up, finds resistance from supply, then moves through the level, then comes back up and tests it. So we may see a series of tests here. That's just the general picture with everything, okay? So, yeah, and when I talked about the Australian dollar just a moment ago, then I'll just come back to that because I just want to explain the euro's in the same boat here in terms of the rally here, which, you know, can fail. There's plenty of supply there, but the euro's in the same picture here as well in that terms there. So in terms of the US dollar here, which is quite central to everything here, I just wanted to point out that you know, we have seen positive wave structures up here, but just to keep things very simple here, if you can imagine this here as 5 waves up there, which it is, so we've got the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5, and then we've seen this ABC come back to here, and we thought that may just be it, but it looks like we've got a 3 wave structure here for a B wave, and then we'll get a C wave to here. Now C waves are always in 5 waves, so we would see something like down for 1, back for 2, down for 3, back for 4 and down for 5. Now an ABC correction can come back 61.8% or 70% or even 80%. Technically, it can come all the way back here, but it can't take out this low here. So normally 61.8% back. But what we're actually sort of seeing here is this correction here. Yeah, this correction here is starting to become a little bit too big for this particular move up through here, this 5 wave impulse wave up here. Then we've got the A, the B and the C, and that's fine. I'll let it play out here. But what I wanted to point out though is that if this price here comes back close to the 75 here, then we've got the bullish picture in the US dollar suddenly becomes weaker, and the Australian dollar and the euro become stronger at this particular point. And I'm talking about in the next degree of wave structure to the upside. So we can expect this, in all fairness, to complete its 5 wave structure to the downside here. So a bounce off the previous lows here, coming across here, or the 75.30 there. But anywhere under the 75.20 in that little group 1 here, and that's one of the little rules with group 1 here, 10, 20 and 30, or 1, 2 and 3. If the market comes down and bounces off here, that's fine. But if it locks under the center of group 1 here, then it's normally doomed at that stage. And what I mean by that, then it suddenly becomes part of the 75. And if it becomes part of the 75, then it becomes a part of another structure, a larger structure. So even though it's very subtle here, and this is what we're looking at the Dow Jones, by the way, at 12,300, 12,200. Yeah, so then it'll become part of the 12,000, which opens up another door. So group 1 is a special little group. The more that you understand about it, the better off you will be with understanding everything around that price level. And trading is really about group 1, the midpoint here at the 5, and then group 2 here, the 65, 72 and the 80, and the next levels above that. So it's a little bit complex, but it's quite simple once you get your head around it. So look, this move down here could change the bigger picture for the US dollar and the currencies. Yeah, so that's an important point there. Okay, one thing that I missed here because I went around a different way this time is gold. And we're seeing gold finding the 1500 as resistance here. The first levels down here, as you know, are group 2 here, and this is group 2 here as support. We could say that, keeping it quite simple here, is that a move under the 72 as resistance certainly opens up a door to the downside, and would see this structure continue down through here. So this is retesting supply at the moment with the other commodities, but basically we're looking at down for 1, back for 2, and then we'll be looking down 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 back down through to here. And then, so we'll see a struggle in here, but if we find this as resistance here, then you can short it at that stage there. Otherwise, it's still a part of the 1500 here, even though it's got it as resistance there. Okay, what have I missed? I've missed the FTSE. The FTSE is a bit, it's a bit like our markets. There is a relationship between the two of them. In fact, if you're day trading or intraday trading, they have the same sort of nature. So we can see the S&P 500. Here we go. So we can see that the FTSE is a bit reluctant to move to the downside as well. We were looking at the 5,900 becoming the resistance. We've seen sort of one retest here. We've seen a break below here, but it hasn't held below the 72. So it's still part of the 5.9 here. So yeah, you just got to allow that to play out. But this is a second sort of retest of supply here of the 5.9 here. So just see how that goes here. Any support above there brings it back into the positive territory. Any failing here brings it into the negative territory, and then you'll use group 2 here to short it this time around. So just give that a little bit of time there. And same with our sort of futures market here as well. We could consider this situation here a bit of a wave 4 in line with the Chinese markets, but we'll see how we go there. Yesterday we were mentioning that. Anyway, I'll leave that with you there. That's I won't get into that just yet. But we want to see how this develops, and what we mean by that is that we want to start seeing 5-wave structures to the upside, and that's what we kind of seen yesterday as well. So from this low point here, we've seen this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we've seen the A, the B, and the C coming back, pulling back past 61.8%, but that's fine. So because we've seen 5 here, we're looking for another 5 to the upside here. Now, yesterday the Dow was down. Yesterday we were up, but BHP yesterday in the US was up. So that's always a little key leading indicator. And today it's up as well, not by much, but a touch. So we should see it reasonably steady in line with the commodities as well. So the idea would be looking for support today on whatever you're trading. I'm not going to put very many trades out, or if any at all, just keeping things low key and tidy, because we need some evidence of something being established for a particular direction. And yeah, and like I mentioned, we got the Dow going one way and we got Asia going the other. So we need to get a bit of confirmation on things. Alrighty, well, good morning and good luck.